Yeah. So discuss those kind of things. Discuss those kind of things so that you know what you are doing, so that somebody knows that when my level is being raised, my spouse also will feel it positively. One. Don't let anybody, you know, bewitch your thinking. You and your spouse, when you marry, you are what? You are one. You are one. I will stop here because of time. Okay? I thank you for coming. Next month, we are going on a higher level. I'll start teaching earlier, but I want to thank you for coming. If you have any questions for me, I will take. Otherwise, I'll just bless us. But again, I thank you for your patience. I want to encourage you to come for the service tomorrow, which starts 11:30 to when? 2 p.m. Great service right here. But before I sit down, let me also encourage you that if you check maybe Amazon Kindle, or if you come tomorrow, you see some books I've done. Is he or she the one? The Marriage That Works, The Purpose of Marriage. Another one is coming out soon, Overcoming Seduction. All done. I'm just waiting for them to roll out. Go through these materials prayerfully, and ask me questions. For over a decade, I've been doing this almost every month. And how do you know something is successful? Hey, man. How do you know something is successful? Come to church and see the buggies never end. People are marrying and the marriages are standing. Okay? So you can drink into that grace. There were years that I was so busy, back to back. Till now, the busiest church in terms of wedding in Bedfordshire is here. A lady met me sometime. I said, Pastor Mona, because of her age, you would not like to come for the single summit. But she's single. Let that grace come on her, let her marry also, she said. She was over 50 or so that time. So we know what is happening in that place. Yeah, so it happens there. Again, I tell you to God's glory, that is the busiest church in terms of wedding. Yeah, for years. So the things I've taught you are not just common words. They will work in your life. There will be good results. In Jesus' mighty name. So I'll take questions if you have. Any question? You can write it. Good? Yeah? Olumide. Desmond, help me get him the microphone.
Okay. For example, if you are dating someone, and you don't know the person is married, and the person has married, and you are still dating the person, and the person not inform you that she has married, and the relationship did not work. Then later you now knew that she was already married, and she did not inform you. What will you do in that kind of situation?
Wow, I understand what you are saying. Some people they are tricky, they are sneaky. And what you are saying is real. Sometimes when people even divorce, they'll change locations and go somewhere else to go and marry and deceiving people. So what you are saying is real. But what you do is this. When you know people, know them slowly. Again, the fear of God. If, for example, you are in a relationship with a person, there should not be sex until you marry. If there was no sex, you have lost nothing. Because these same people, you don't know what they are into. Sexual connection is covenant. So if you've had it, break it. But they were married anyway. So what do? You move on with your life. God delivered you. If I understood your question, God delivered you. Never go back there. People are not honest. A lady was telling me that a guy who was already married in Nigeria came here and wants to marry her. But unknown to the guy, that she doesn't have womb. So I'm telling you as a pastor. And you know I'm a pastor. Will I go and sit the guy down and say she doesn't have womb? So, it's more than meets the eye. And listen to me. The balance is that if someone, you are getting to know them, you don't vomit all your life to them that I'm trusting them. No. That I want to be transparent. No. If you do that, you may scare them away, right? Why you will not manipulate them? Let it come what? Gradually. Yeah? Gradually. When they are hooked and they want to really marry you, say, will you really marry me? Say, yes. I have this kind of challenge. Then let them take what? their decision. If the love is not there, you make it a million times easy for them to pull out. I'm talking about issues, not the issue of marriage before. If they've married before, it's what? A no. It's no with capital N and O. Yeah. So move away with your life and thank God. And that should be an eye-opener. That there are people like that. It's not only with that person, there are people like that. So get to know people. There's a guy that I noticed, he's a good guy, but I noticed that he was positioning like a single. When I looked at his face, I was not judging him. By his age, if he had not married, then there was a significant delay. So I said, excuse me, bro, are you married? He said, Pastor. I said, no. Are you married? I said, sir, it's yes or no. You don't know you? He said, yeah, there's something like that. I'm married, but my wife, we have 2 kids, was unfaithful. I said, okay, so you are married, but you have issues. Yeah. But married, yeah. Because I didn't want him to position and then start dating somebody here. Because I wanted to know his status. The Bible said, know the state of the sheep. I wanted to know his status without judging him. I met another guy again that was moving after service, very friendly with people, connecting, very strategic, connecting. So I told the guys, this guy is dangerous. This guy is dangerous. So before service, he would like to come and chat with me and say, God says, no, don't chat with me before I preach. Wait until I preach. So one day I said, I want to talk to you. I said, you married? You say, yeah. So where's your wife? So she's in Luton here, but we have issues. I said, why not come back together? He said, she will not be interested. I said, why? I said, I have grace for marriages to work. So when I pray now, it will happen, sir. So I'm not sure. I spoke to her just last week. I said, so just last week you were in touch. So I said, that means you could walk then. But before that statement, he made a statement to me. He said, I went to a church. I know the pastor is very nice. And then one of the sisters who began to see, and she was in my room, and she stole away from me. You know, he said, it's not good. I said, listen, gentlemen, I don't want to be that kind of nice pastor. You've just told me that your wife is there. A pastor was nice. He looked the other way, and the church member was sleeping with you. I said, it's called immorality. Is that not what you just said? What shocked me was how he was bold talking about God. People are deluded. People are dangerous. Then I said, I don't want to be that kind of pastor. I said, look, let me tell you, gentlemen. Don't do that nonsense here. Number one, if you were not married, you are not allowed to take somebody to bed from a pastoral perspective. Now you are married. You know what? One day somebody saw the guy complain. You know that H&M, they are not supportive. He was talking to a member, and the member was touched. They said, this church, they don't show love. Oh, Jesus. He was telling somebody that they don't show love in this church. You know what the love I should have showed him? Is to let him have access to a young, fresh blood and take them to bed. So before you kill a pastor, know the story. But the way he's Pentecostal, the way he say Holy Ghost, people don't have conscience. So I'm aware of those kind of people. People are very difficult. Very difficult people. If the guy was running down churches in Luton, presenting the face of innocence, only few people tell you the whole truth. When you're hearing anybody all the time, know that it is hard for them to tell you the truth 100%. That's where your wisdom starts. He should have just scattered people from church by showing that he needed love, but the pastor denied him to support him. And how could I support that? You tell me. I don't want to do church while chasing after revival. Mighty move of the Spirit of God. So, people are like that. You meet many more people like that. So be very careful. That is why when a relationship, we call it covering in the Christianity, when the relationship is getting like established, talk to your pastor. Like, I'm here, talk to me. We'll check it out and tell you the truth gently. If you are very protective, they will not tell you the truth. You say, Pastor, I just came to see you, but I know the voice of God. God has endorsed it. They'll leave you with your endorsement. When we say, sir, do you have any thoughts to share with me? Then they may share something with you that may help you. So that is also one of the safety nets, counseling. During counseling, many things will be unveiled. Many things will be revealed. So don't rush it. Because if you rush in, you will rush out through divorce. Counseling. Yeah, more questions. Yeah, Raymond?
Hello. This is a question that I've had for a long time, and I've heard many people give very different opinions on it. But regarding this notion that a man is the provider of a family, or that which is considered is considered like societally accepted, but when a man is upcoming and growing up, and especially in this situation, in the economical situation of this, would it be acceptable or would it be right for a man who is not grounded in his financial status to pursue love? Because anyone who might think that, if I'm not stable, why would I bring up someone else and be a pressure for them, rather than develop myself and then go for it?
Good.
So what would be your advice on this?
Thank you. That's a very important question. Thank you for sharing that. Your question, if I understood you, is since a man normally is meant to be a provider, if I'm not financially strong, why should I pursue love? Should I wait until I'm financially empowered? Is there no risk that I might continue to overdrag in waiting? What is the hope of a financially unstable man in the marriage equation? Since he must be the provider, I'll answer that. Thank you. I got that. I want to say that the word husband is from the word husbandry. Husbandry means care, support, provision. So a man, a husband, is meant to be source of support. That support is not only financial. Normally it should be spiritual, emotional, social. So there are loads of things that a man brings on the table. Even simple science shows us that the hormones in men are different from women. Generally, science is stubborn that men are more emotionally stable than women. It's not because women are lower, but this is science. So in terms of women are more relational, they easily get stressed up psychologically. Men are completely different. Again, this is science. Even the brain. So looking at that, so when a man is involved, it should bring some solidity, some stability to the process. And that is why no matter a woman seems tough, when she crashes, she wants a broad shoulder to lean upon. So a man should have some level of stability around these attributes. Okay? But coming to finance, sometimes it's not just the actual cash, but prospects. A man should be reasonable, responsible, and have something he's pursuing that is capable of bringing money. But if somebody is not having anything like that, they become a liability. That said, when someone is in a relationship, like I said, because every rule has an exception, and the lady understands the guy and says, I'll step in, they'll go for that conversation. I think that these are exceptions, but that man must be responsible. The man must not see the lady as an escape route. The bottom line for me is being responsible. Responsibility means I'm working hard, but I'm not there yet. I'm not a layback. I'm not a lazy person. I'm not go and bring less spend. I talk 12 hours every day. I'm work shy. No. Responsibility means I'm doing my best, but it's not cashing yet. So a man that is lazy is a big burden to marriage. I'm telling you this. And then because men can be very rough and tough, if it means working in warehouse, I'm not saying that should happen. Anything. As I am, honestly, if my family does not have money, can do and have done all it will take within righteous means to put food on the table. That's the disposition of a man. I can stretch myself. That is what makes you a man. But in terms of financial volume, your wife may have more sometimes, and that's understandable. But it's a typical man has his own presence and input. So you should have ticked all the other boxes before, unfortunately, it's still not adding up. But a laid-back person is a joke. And then if the lady thinks we need to marry and build up, there should be a plan. And I think that why we should be lenient, it should be discussed. Because there are many guys who today are looking for girls who are made. And the problem with that is when their children grow up, they damage the psyche of their children because they get used to fathers who are not hardworking. So poor people can marry. Women, I can say a million times, can be richer, but it's the attitude, it's the responsibility. Yeah, but I think that love is costly. I agree with you. In terms of pursuing love, you don't wait until you are financially stable. Because the day you know the person is not the day you will marry. From a Christian perspective, if you have a relationship, you'll be trying, you work on your CV, you'll be praying. If you wait until everything is all right before you take steps, you are out of order, biblically speaking. Because if you wait for the perfect condition, you can't get anything done. From the biblical point of view, you keep moving anyway. But before you go to set your wedding day, you must have made some progress. If that makes sense to you. So even if you are down and out, if you feel in your heart that you should have a relationship, in fact, when you are in a relationship, that might help you become financially empowered. Because then you and your heartthrob, your sweetheart, can begin to pray and fast together for God to give you a job. That's how many people get jobs. Relationships was what announced them. Because once you're in a relationship, your life is like a V shape. The more you move, the more it expands. So both of you can tap from each other's strength. So again, you don't wait until you're financially strong. But before you marry, you must have something that is sustainable. Or you must come to something here, if that makes sense to you. So because don't be oversimplistic as a Christian, like 1 + 1 = 2. Oh, I'm not financially strong, so love is not for me now. You keep moving. But again, before you now wed, something must be in place. But this is good because I'm about to put a meeting on for men titled Excel. And I want to discuss practical things with men and pray for them. I want people to bring their CVs, their businesses, points of contact, and the date to be announced soon. My heart is, if I show you what I wrote today, you'll be surprised. Just before I came today, I wrote my heart is going out for men who have potentials, who are not having results. And I want to have a special lunch with men in a few weeks' time. Lunch with men to talk to them and pray with them. God bless you. You will succeed, by the way. In Jesus' name. Yeah? More questions? Okay, yeah, the microphone.
Thank you, sir, for your time.
Yeah.
I just want to ask that, as a man, maybe you met a girl and every box 6 has been ticked. Every box 6 has been ticked.
Yes.
So, but how can one deal with maybe demands from parents? You know, some parents be like, oh, before you get married to my daughter, you must probably build a house for us, buy a car for us, something like that. And that is not really something you can afford at that time. Yeah. So I can one deal with that.
Thank you. Parental influence, parental pressure. And let me add something that will shock you. Sometimes there's church pressure. I'll explain that to you. Let me start from that, just to amuse you. In some churches, it's an unwritten condition that before you wed, you must dress up the man of God and his wife. They argue that the man of God may not have the money and it's your wedding, don't put him in such a situation where he's not dressed up and his wife. What is my take about that? Rubbish. I will never do that kind of rubbish. So you see, I want to deal with such pressures. And I struggle with how a man of God will not trust God to provide for him and put it as a requirement off record. You know, when people come here and they want to do things, they ask me many questions and I don't get. They're like, I want to name my baby. What am I meant to do? Nothing. They say, just like that? I say, yeah. Because there are no charges here. I want to do dedication of my child. What do? I say, just come. Nothing. Should I cook? Nope. Should I wait until 3 months? Nope. New Testament believer. When you are strong. What will happen that day? We already have refreshments. Actually, I've wedded 2 people by a process known as blessing. I say, sir, I don't have money. What do? I say, so easy. One of our regular services, if you want, just join you guys up. If you want to make it on Saturday, fine. It will not be acted like you are going to spend a penny and spend nothing. 2 already happened. Life can be easy. Now, my point to you is what the churches are doing is not because they are wicked. It's wrong culture, wrong mindset. So what do? Decolonize the mindset. They are colonizing people in the wrong way. Decolonize it. What do we do to parents? They are not trying to be evil. They are trying to cheaply enhance their worth through saying, I brought up my child. Wrong culture. Decolonize it. Tell the parents that, look, if you charge this man, and then he becomes a rich man tomorrow, he thought he bought me already. He may not look your direction. So we are doing loads of education. We are shifting civilization. We're assisting understanding. See, in my culture, many years ago before I married, for you to wed, you need to have a big box full of clothes for your wife to be. Now, like your wife now, because going on a traditional marriage, which must be checked at least 2 days to that. And until it's checked, you know, their psychology is they are protecting both you and your wife, because when she marries, she should not be seen to be a friend of poverty. She should be changing clothes and looking nice. That was their belief. And they were going to implement it on us. I'll tell you what happened. When it came to our turn, number 1, we are coming from a different civilization. What do I mean by that? Christian belief. My wife and I do not even believe that those aunties are innocent enough to check what she's going to wear. So where would the access come from? How do I give you access to what I'm going to wear? No, I love Mona. I want to give her. Don't check it for us. Number 2, you don't know us like we know us. Even if it's just one clothes we are wearing, our future is bright. So that was cancelled because you say, nope, I will not do it. Nothing is cast in stone. It's through wisdom, elevated intelligence, prayer, and negotiation. Parents can be supported, even strategically. You can even involve people strategically to assist them away, twist them, decolonize them from that thinking. And remember, we're in 21st century. One time, a mom came to me, very firm, very, very typical Nigerian mother, firm. And she said this to me. She said, my son does not have much yet. He wants to rush to marry. She met me. She felt, if you not listen to me, Pastor Mona, your pastor will. So she came down from London and met me in Luton. Said, my son, my firstborn. I said, yes, mommy. He's rushing these things. Pastor Mona, I'm not against this marriage. Let him take it easy. Work a bit more. Where are you hurrying up to? You're just a little child. No money on ground. I said, okay, mom. I said, mom, can I speak to you? Say yes. Because she was boiling with anger. And she wanted to politically influence me to tell the guy, wait yet. But I'm not moved by those kind of things. Those who are led by the Spirit of God, they are the sons and daughters of God. So I checked in my spirit and I knew they were meant to marry. How do I deal with that respectfully, but decolonize that thinking? I said, mom, you are talking to me, your son is not here. Can I be honest with you? Say you are married and you have your husband. You know that if your husband is not there, you feel tempted. You'll be married for years and your son can marry now. Yet you still need sexual intimacy. Don't you think it's even worse for a younger person? Are you checking that? What if you frustrate what they want to do and he goes to impregnate the lady? The glory you could have had, you will not have it. Why should we put them at a risky stage? I was helping her without judging her. I was decolonizing her thinking. I said, with all your years of experience, over 20 years, you still cannot hold body for long without your husband. Why do you think he can do better? More so, when they are into each other like this and you frustrate it, is the more reason the devil may tempt them. Say, what do you want? My advice is that let's pray and trust God to help them. So you are right, Pastor Mona. I think as a mom, I'm too stubborn. I was talking to my son, he was helpless. He didn't argue with me because he fears God. That's how she allowed it. So, it's not to fight. No, wisdom is stronger than physical strength. Prayer, wisdom, prayer, wisdom, prayer, wisdom. Because sometimes they've seen it over and over, and they believe it has to be like that. So that's how to deal with it. Yeah, how to deal with it. So you engage them with wisdom and prayer and conversations. And you can even strategically let people talk for you. Wisdom. You soften their hearts. People don't know better. That's why they do what they do. Yeah. Somebody you can put words in people's mouth and say, sir, these young people, if you don't agree, they may go to court and marry and live without you. They are in a new generation now. So let's be careful with them. Wisdom. You understand? There's a way to do these things. There's always a way out. There's always a way out. And if you're spiritual, you can pray and they'll go and have a dream. And they'll see how their daughter was succeeding and they scattered it. They say, oh my God. I don't want to hinder her. And she said, he told my daughter, what do you want me to do for you? He said, just help me to marry the guy. It's okay, I will. You use spirituality, you use wisdom, you use everything. And then where you live, if there's a pastor there, because you are not meant to be a pastor until you are respectable. Respectability means you have gravitas. When you talk to people, you can calm them down. That's what the Bible says. So for you to be a man of God, should be husband of one wife, your children should honor you, obey you, and you should be respectable. We call it a voice. Let a voice enter. It may make a difference. And that's why it should be planted in the church. Okay. I can take 2 more, maximum 2 more. Maximum? Yeah? Yeah, Eunice, give her the microphone. Ezra, are you done? Come and support me. Yeah?
Thank you, sir. I wanted to ask, how do you respectfully respond to people who keep on asking you about your relationship?
Okay. Oh, let me say it again. People want to know your status or who are interested. They want to know your status.
Yeah, so family members.
Oh, yeah, okay, it's clearer. Okay, how do you deal with family-related pressure? Yeah. Eunice, I think that is a very important question. Sometimes they don't mean harm, to be fair to them, but it can be very difficult by insensitivity to say a lady who is single for no fault of ours. So I think we need to educate families. Because sometimes families tell people, when are you bringing the man? As if she's the one that's going to go and pull the man from the shell and say, come. And I think some of the things that when people do things repeatedly, becomes a culture, and sometimes I don't see how it's hurting people. I mean, the question she's asking is for everybody, in my opinion, right? Yeah, right, it's for everybody. It's a very important question. And so sometimes families are unhelpful. Why I can see where they're coming from, their sincere passion to we're waiting. But you don't want to damage the person's self-esteem. You don't want to make them overthink. raise their high blood pressure. By that, if you really love them, then start praying for them. Then give up your meal on them and say, Lord, show them. So how you deal with that is to smile and say, don't worry, you will hear from me soon. Don't need to prophecy. Say, don't worry. Yeah, you hear from me soon. That's how you deal with it. You speak what you want to say. And don't explain or feel bad. And if there's someone that's trying to torment you, minimize conversations. Yeah, because again, when you start having problems with them, it can put you again in a difficult place in the spirit. You don't want that. I know, yeah. So, but I've prayed for all of you in here. I already prayed, so your testimonies are coming big, big, big. In Jesus' name. Yeah, another question. I'll take the last. Okay, if there are two more, I'll take. If you want to ask, put your hand up. Let me see. Okay, sir. One, and then my sister. Okay.
Thank you so much for this. This is really an eye-opener for me. I've learned so many things which I'm going to put into practice. Firstly, I don't know how to put it. I don't know why guys, like men, even believers, they will always want to test.
Testing, yeah.
Yeah. So, and then when you start to preach, they say they are not pastor, they are not them, but you call yourself a believer. So I'm finding it difficult to deal with that.
Yeah.
And then secondly, how about when you date someone and then the person will be always asking you,
Hey guys, let's follow the question.
Can you borrow me money?
Say it again.
He said, borrow me some money.
When you...
Like, you dated someone and the person will say, borrow me some money. And then, he's working, that you don't have money, and say, borrow me. And then the second time, he said, borrow me money, I'll pay you back. I'll pay you so day. And then that day passed, he didn't pay. After 3 days, and then I told him that you are not faithful. Because of this, I've already lost my respect. That is a huge red flag for me.
Yeah.
You can't fulfill your promise, even though it's a small amount. But this is a no for me. But then I've lost interest where the person is because of that attitude.
Thank you. I like honest questions, and I think your heart. What's your name? Severia. I think your heart is speaking, and I appreciate this. And I think the question is going to help everybody. That when you are dealing with people who loudly say they are Christians, but when you are coming closer, they say, I cannot just be observing like this until we marry. I need to be intimate with you. I need to test you. I need to know what is happening. And when you try to say, no, why? Children of God say, no, I'm not a pastor. Okay, what's my take on that? I want to say to you that the fear of God means to depart from evil. The genuine fear of God has a restraining power. I want to convince you, Severia, that anyone that fears God will not go for fornication. That they are not saying that because they are not pastors. They are saying that because they don't fear God. I want to say that many are religious, but very few fear God. I want to say to you that there are many people who are not pastors, who don't do such. That is moral porosity. When you call them brothers, I cannot disagree. But for me, I find it difficult to call such people proper Christians. And if you started coming to this church, you know what I'm talking about. People that know God are consecrated. It's nothing to do with being a pastor. It's the knowledge of God. If a person must test you, in other words, sin with you, fornicate with you, they will test other women. So I don't want you to think that testing is very popular with the true saints. It's popular with those who don't fear God. I know that there are many people who sometimes divorce their wives, kick their wives out, get 3 concubines, continue preaching. People have charisma without character. That is there. It's chaos that is happening in Nigeria, in Ghana, in Uganda, in South Africa. And some people who even do such as pastors are moving from Christianity to demonism. The genuine children of God become born again, then they go through a process known as discipleship. They want to please Jesus Christ. They take on the nature of Christ. It's a call for the flesh to die. A proper believer struggles to lie. How much more fornication? So anyone that is misleading you to think that they are thinking so because they are not pastor is manipulating you. Normal Christians. Frank, you got born again. Before you became a pastor, have you tested anybody since you got born again? It's rather strange, right? I'm aware of the testing phenomenon, but it is for those who don't fear God. If you marry them, you will cry. They will contact HIV and give you. They will destroy you. They don't fear God. They kick you out and replace you. So testing is not... What I'm trying to say is some things should not even be mentioned. The Bible says some things are improper for God's people and should not be mentioned. So a person saying that already qualifies themselves to be in the category of, I'm not really, really strong in my faith. Not like I'm a believer. You cannot be putting all those big names. No. He said the foundation of God stands sure. With this clear writing, those who name the name of the Lord must depart from sin. So that is the stand. And that is what you see in many people. And I've raised lots of people here. That's what you see in them. Those who misbehave, because out of every 12 there's a Judas, they don't defend it. They just know they are being rubbish. To defend that I'm not a pastor is off. They should say, I don't fear God. That's it. I don't fear God. And stay away from such people. In terms of money, I don't know your own level of spiritual growth. If you were to do a proper relationship, the person is not perfect. He fears God. He keeps godly boundary. He keeps it pure. And you are working together, not because they want to manipulate you or deceive you. If they are in need, if I were you, and we're really together, I don't mind helping. Understand me? I will not even borrow them. I don't mind helping. Because I feel we have a future together. Say I'm a British citizen and I'm a lady and someone is not a citizen and they are not marrying me for paper. They love me. I will use my advantage to establish them because they are for me ultimately. You don't understand that? The two are one. Let me give you an example. I was in a relationship with my wife. I was a young graduate, already working. I just graduated. For a few years, and she was going for national service, graduate placement. I went to buy her clothes. Because I'm going to marry her. I want her to look nice. If I were a lady and she was a man, I would do the same. Because again, it's one family. Because if you are really, I'm talking from how things should be. How things should be is one house. So, any help I give to my wife now, I will not count it like a big help because she's part of me. Okay. That said, when someone wants to use you in a relationship and they don't fear God, don't yield to them. Because again, like I said, some people, you cannot see by their attitude that they're working hard and they want to tap money from you. Don't allow them. But when it comes to money, be soft. If someone breaks their promise, it could be that they are indisciplined or in some cases they are unable to pay back. It may not mean that they will not be a good husband. You can discuss it calmly. Be very calm. Some people that get money from you, they are wasters financially. So they can't give you, they say later. It doesn't mean they are bad that way, but it means they are indisciplined. If you want to marry them, and that is the only problem, have deeper conversation. Again, if you have a pastor, he will support